He can come through and do his intro later. All right, I'm starting it. It's 11:30. Alrighty, and we live. Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another fantastic and fabulous episode of the NXP podcast. I'm your host, Chris, also known as NeoGameSpark. Joining me on this journey, we have my two stalwart companions. Flanking on my left, we have the one, the only, the man whose beard grows back faster than you can shave it, Danny D's World. What's going on, Danny? Happy Monday evening, my friend.
Oh, thank you, and happy birthday to Mewtwo.
Oh, it's Mewtwo's birthdays today. Well, look at that.
Mewtwo and Ronald Reagan, so hey.
Oh, so is there like a weird collab fan art going on? I don't know. Maybe.
You know what? I'm terrified to look, but I'm sure there is.
Well, it is the internet, and anything involving Pokemon and humans, yeah, we're just going to stop there before it gets pretty weird. And, as always, we have the one, the only, the infamous Rots112. What is going on, Robert? Happy Monday, my friend.
Hello.
Happy Monday.
Whoa, Rob. Damn, you have a shit, man. We got a decoy for you? You have a different voice today. What was that?
What?
It's like you de-aged 16 years. You were just like, hello.
So fuck?
This man sounded like Barbie and shit.
Hey, fuck.
Hey, yo, chill out.
Oh, look, see, he's aged. Now he's 17. Look at that, man.
Hey, yo, chill out.
Hey, y'all still gonna play this game?
Oh yeah. Until you fix your audio, bro. That's what the chat says.
Oh, it's okay.
But what's going on, Rob? How you doing, bro?
I'm a little triggered, to be honest.
Sir.
Oh, that's perfect for the topic at hand.
Sir, it is only the sixth day of the second month of 2017. It's too early to be triggered, my friend.
What's
Well,
good,
I'm
guys?
pissed off, man. Do I sound better?
Well, you have a little bit of
Yeah.
something. So you have like young Rob who's talking, and then you have regular Rob. So it's like some kind of weird hybrid.
I
It's
think that
strange.
may be our guest, sir.
Oh! We have a guest today. Oh, sir, why don't you introduce yourself? Showing up at the podcast a whole 2 minutes late.
Yo, I'm sorry. Yo, I had to talk to somebody real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. My name's Jameel. What's good, y'all? Been talking to Chris for a while, Danny a while. Just met you, Rob.
What's going on?
I don't know. Looking at my stack of comics, kind of disappointed in myself.
Ooh. I personally think that with Rob being triggered and Jameel being disappointed by his comics, I think that is a perfect segue into the topic of today's episode. Today is the first ever NXP podcast topic edition, where we take a particular topic and we spend an entire podcast talking just about that. So today, as you can see from the title, we're talking about diversity in comics, in addition to something that's been going on for decades at this point. We're going to be talking about shock value killing. For those unaware of what shock value killing is, think when a character who you really love gets killed for no reason whatsoever, and then they're brought back in a matter of a few issues. So we're going to talk about both of those topics and how they kind of have shaped the way people perceive comics recently, how it's affecting the industry as a whole, declining sales, all that mumbo jumbo jargon. So we might as well just talk about the real meat of this discussion, which is diversity in comics. This has been a subject that's been going on more recently in the past couple of years, with the topic of race swapping and representation and how that factors into things not only in comics but things related to comics like video games and the movies and such. So I want to have Danny open this one up because this was his idea. He wanted to talk about this for a discussion, but as always, this is a round table, so everyone has their opportunity to chime in on it. So Danny, take it away, my friend.
Hold up, but before you get started, do I still sound messed up?
Well,
I need to know, otherwise I can't focus. I'm mad as hell.
yo,
You sound fine.
this man
Oh my
stayed angry. Yo,
Yeah,
chat,
I
you see
was
the
up here
chat?
fucking fuming, man. I was pissed off. Yo.
He couldn't take it.
Fuck.
Yo, chat, what do y'all got to say about this? You low key triggered our man Rob into the next year.
Nah, man. It's like, this shit's annoying, man.
Oh God.
Every time we do this, man, it's something with this shit.
Oh man. But
And I can't see the chat, man. What they saying? Yo. Can y'all hear me this time? Or do I still sound low?
he's about to drop it low, man.
Well, oh boy. Personally, I can hear you loud and clear, but
All right, now. Then go ahead.
okay. Well, the short answer to the topic at hand is yes, it is.
Racist.
There you go. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank
Well,
you.
we found the resident Trump supporter in the stream. There we go.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to ask you to retract that slur right now.
No,
Please?
sir. I'm not going to tolerate you and your fake news slander.
You're the one slandering.
Oh, that's exactly what an alt-writer would say. Exactly.
What? Oh my
Exactly.
God. You know what?
Stay woke.
What-
Stay
What the
woke
hell
up.
just happened?
Stay woke up
Stay
this
woke.
shit.
We was Wakandans. Exactly.
We was Wakandans. We was Kangs. You cannot handle my hotepery, Danny. It's too early in the night for you.
Bro, this dude is up here on Wild Hunted right now. Bro, what the hell just happened? Yo? All right, everybody start over. Yo. Just start everything over.
Somebody
Just start the fucking intro. Start over. Take two.
Somebody just said triggered Rob, a fallen podcaster.
Bro, man, I'm telling you, man, I was heated, yo, but I'm cool now. So,
Short answer, yes. Is that what you said, Danny?
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah,
The short
that's it,
answer is
everybody.
yes.
Yeah, they fucked up everything. We done.
That was great. Nice seeing y'all. Have a good rest of the week.
See y'all next week, man.
Okay, but do you want to elaborate on that, good sir, Dan?
Well, I mean, all you got to do is really take a look at like some of their recent sales, like outside of the big event issues, and even those haven't been doing near as good as they used to. Their comic sales have been freaking abysmal. They are like punchlines in comic shops at this point. You have the main Spider-Man series, The Amazing Spider-Man, selling only 60,000 issues in the month of December. You have the Miles Morales line selling only 40,000 that month. Renew Your Vows selling 43,000. A spinoff selling more than a main title. A spinoff which, by the way, has gotten very little advertising push so far. Like, these books are in trouble. I mean, there are realtors who say that they order in all these copies of like books like Great Lake Avengers and Squirrel Girl and stuff that, you know, they're constantly being told by Marvel they're going to need a lot of because people are going to be rushing it, and then they sit on the shelves for months and they sell like 2 copies.
Damn.
Marvel keeps putting out these books that people don't want to read because they're convinced that Tumblr wants them, and they forget that Tumblr doesn't read comics.
They ain't buying shit.
They read think pieces about comics. They will occasionally torrent or digitally download a comic and then just use screenshots from it to further their own little meta posting and their headcanons. They're less interested in what you're writing and more interested about in their own headcanons about these characters. It's getting kind of ridiculous, and there are multiple reasons why this all happened and how we got to this point. And the ironic thing is, in the end, the people that they're trying to pander to appear to have turned on them, but that's related.
Okay, cool. Now you brought up a lot of interesting things with that entire intro. First and foremost, what I want to highlight is the sales argument, because that was something that even to this day the companies in the comic industry actually keep it pretty. They keep pretty quiet about it. I think it was Dan Slott when he first got on to Amazing Spider-Man. Weren't they like? I guess the best way I could describe this, since there's a lot of gamers who watch this, think of how Microsoft has been spinning the Xbox One PR. Do you guys remember last month when Microsoft was saying, like, thanks to all the Xbox fans for making Xbox One the top selling console in North America for the second half of 2016 type shit? Like, that level.
Yeah. Just basically,
they were counting the number of minutes played in certain games. They had some like really ridiculous stat, like the kill count in an FPS's multiplayer mode.
Listen, sir.
Number of bullets shot.
The number of bullets, yeah, something like that. It was ridiculous.
Number of bullet holes in random walls.
50,000 new friendships were formed on Xbox Live at the E3 weekend.
Yep.
Oh my god!
All right, but
they always got to come up with some bizarre spin on that,
right?
But
right.
Marvel does. They do.
I remember there was something.
I guess Rocky would be proud. But, all right.
This man really said Rock.
y'all
Wow.
remember the Rocky quote?
Wow.
On the Xbox One lineup.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of the best quotes in the world, and they put it on the Xbox One lineup.
But anyway,
and the funny thing too is that basically their entire 2013 and 14 lineups are gone.
Hey, sir, we talking about Marvel here, so let's.
I know. Believe it or not, it's still relevant.
Oh, it is. It definitely is relevant, but
I mean, Marvel started doing the same thing. It's a fascinating parallel, really.
Right. So that level of PR spin where they tell you everything but what you want to know, they were doing that for Dan Slott's run on Amazing Spider-Man. And the reason why I know this is because, the only sales I really keep track of are Spider-Man related. And they were saying something how, like, it's the best-selling comic of a series that debuted last year in the month of January or something crazy like that. They were using some weird metrics. Like it was crazy, man.
Marvel's been using like really weird metrics for years, and the first person to actually expose them for it, which is also why they've allegedly put a clause in every writer's contract that they can't directly criticize the company, is when J. Michael Straczynski left The Amazing Spider-Man after One More Day, which was a story that he was actually so against that he wanted his name taken out of the credits.
Sheesh.
But see, after that, he left. And Marvel kept trying to, spin how good the book was doing. Straczynski, though, had insider knowledge, and he actually busted him on it and pointed out that, they keep trying to say that ever since I left and since they did One More Day, sales for Spider-Man comics have spiked. And he said, what they don't tell you is that they're not counting The Amazing Spider-Man. They're counting The Amazing Spider-Man, and they're counting, all the spin-off titles, and they're lumping them all together, and they're also printing out multiple variants for each spin-off title. Collectors have to go out and buy every single one. That is why you will see the ridiculous, like sometimes 6 to 7 variant covers for every issue of a Marvel comic now. They do that because they want people going out and hunting down those variant covers because that's going to equate to more sales. They're gaming their numbers.
That's fraud.
At this point, that's just sounding like amiibo scarcity.
Bro, they do sound like amiibo. That's crazy.
Fraud as fuck.
Yeah. You got something you want to say, Jameel?
I mean, when I was actually, because I've been talking to Danny about it a little bit, when I was looking into this a lot, one thing I noticed is about, like, as far as it goes to, like, classic heroes, we actually kind of don't have anymore. Like, I think the only one we sort of technically kind of have left is, like, Peter Parker, but he's in his weird mix between Tony Stark and Batman, so he's really not even kind of Peter Parker anymore. And then the Incredible Hulk is dead. Hawkeye, I think, is like on the run or something. Cap's a Nazi.
Excuse me, sir, but it's really not Cap as a Nazi. It's if you read the story. Never mind.
Yeah, no. Hulk is dead. The X-Men are just I don't even know what's going on with the X-Men. It's terrible what's happening to the
Oh,
X-Men.
I can
They
explain it,
purged. They
but
purged. They purged along with the Fantastic Four.
yes and
Yeah,
no.
that's
It's
a
weird
mess in and of
because
itself.
they killed the X-Men, but then they didn't kill the X-Men because the X-Men from the past are still in the present. Then they have
Oh.
the X-Men 90, what is it, 92, I think they call it. That's based on the old cartoon.
Yeah, they have that one.
Yep.
Yeah, and now they have a new relaunch that they're already teasing while they're teasing the arc in which the X-Men all die completely.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're making it seem like the X-Men and the remaining X-Men and the Inhumans are basically going to wipe each other out. But they're already teasing a revamped X-Men line down the line that even brings back classic characters who we kind of know are dead now. And that's another problem that Marvel has chronically, because they want to get their announcements out there and, you know, get the solicitations out there to try to show, look, we have confidence in this line, you know, and look at this coming. You guys are going to want to order a bunch for your shops, you know.
Right.
They spoil their arcs before they're even done.
Yeah, didn't like the whole thing with Ironheart, wasn't that out before Civil War II ended?
Yep.
Yeah, it was actually out like shortly before it started.
Oh yeah, Doctor Doom is Iron Man. I forgot.
Yep, Doctor Doom and Riri Williams, I think her name
Well,
is.
isn't she technically supposed to be like a different character, like similar to how War Machine was kind of like his own character?
That's what I was thinking. I thought she just.
Well, yeah,
assumed the
but I
mantle,
mean,
sort of.
But
they
the
took
big
on
thing
the title.
But the big thing was what happened to Tony Stark. You didn't even know, like he was just missing until you got all the clues. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Tony
you didn't
Stark
even.
is
Well,
almost
it's
dead.
yeah, it's like we didn't even know that was going to be a thing. He's practically a vegetable now.
Yeah,
for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, he's comatose, and his mind is the AI that Riri is using to basically like train her into like understanding the role, I guess, of Ironheart or whatever. But it's like, have you guys read Civil War II: The Oath?
No.
Nah.
Jesus Christ, that is. If you want to, okay, so Danny, Danny, actually, everyone here would be probably pissed about it. But in that story, they basically, do you remember how at the end of Civil War I, you had like, Tony Stark sitting over Cap's dead body, and he was basically apologizing, saying how sorry he was. Well, in Civil War II: The Oath, Cap is sitting over Tony's body, and he's basically just gloating, saying what a waste, and he's like, I'm gonna destroy everything you love, Tony Stark. I'm gonna take over the world, and it's gonna be nothing but Hydra. And he's like, the only reason that you won in the past is because I let you win. And I was just like, yo, I'm over thinking, maybe
joking.
No, I'm dead serious. I'm over here thinking that, maybe Cap deep down is still, in there. But nah, he's evil. Like they're making him evil. I'm like,
yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, that's what I mean. See, they kept trying to say this isn't really brainwashing, even though it was pretty clear brainwashing. So in order to make it not really brainwashing, they had to make him go all out with his support of Hydra. Like, he is genuinely a complete and total asswipe now. He has, and this is the part that's really stupid, because it's like anyone who walks in on him at any time is going to see this. He's got a big old chest tattoo of Hydra now, the Hydra logo on his chest. It's like,
he does.
How you gonna hide that? Like, anyone walks in on you shirtless at all, which you are pretty frequently, Captain Workout, they're gonna see that.
Captain Workout.
Yeah, it's like, for real, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. I'm surprised he hasn't taken a hard enough blast that like breaks the suit apart.
Oh, they're working up to that,
I'm more surprised. No, out of all the mind readers in the Marvel universe, no one has been like, I wonder what's going on in Cap's mind right now. That happened.
Well, I mean, you're talking about the people who had Peter Parker actually speaking with like proper classical English and, showing unnatural aggression and talking to everyone like they were idiots compared to him. And no one ever once thought that, gee, he sounds more like Dr. Octopus than Peter Parker. Maybe we should look into that.
Nobody noticed that.
The question is whether the Marvel universe is just stupid, or would it come to Cap? Yeah, they probably just stupid. But I was about to say
they are just stupid.
They injected a little bit of Batman logic where Cap is constantly training his mind, and it can't be read.
it's buckets of plot-induced stupidity because they want their arcs to go through. And the whole Cap thing, though, is kind of what I mean by shock value. Like, they do stuff like this. They will... First, Steve somehow got the super soldier serum taken out of him, and he started aging rapidly. Now, we're going to ignore the fact that shouldn't even happen.
Yeah.
We're going to ignore the fact that if he lost that serum, the most that would happen is he'd go back to having a normal physique, and he would start, aging. Because when he was cryogenically frozen, it preserved him. If you are cryo-frozen in those comics for like 2,000 years, you don't start immediately rapidly aging when you get out unless you have superpowers, okay? He should not have turned into an old man, but he did. And they did that for shock value. You can't be Captain America anymore, so what are we going to do? We're going to turn over the mantle to Sam. But see, Sam wasn't doing as good as they wanted because Sam, much as I love Sam, is being written by a guy who wants to take politics to the absolute extreme in his book.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. But I'll go ahead and let you finish.
And because of that, it's like, people wanted Steve Rogers back, understandably. And really, people would want him back because they don't want to see him being a feeble old man doing nothing. They don't want to, hear that he's possibly going to die if they can't reverse that aging soon. And so they did. And he came back and he regained his youth and he, took on the mantle of Captain America again, got a shield closer to its original one because I don't know why. And there you go. Except no, he's a Nazi now because we have that shot.
Two words that hit the whole world by storm. That infamous page, that Hell Hydra. That wow.
Those memes were lit though. I'm not gonna lie.
Those were great.
Oh my god!
I still gotta say my favorite one because I don't know how they did it, but how they edited it to look like Goku saying "Yes, Lord Frieza." That one always killed me. Man.
That was the unused plot for Resurrection F, man.
No, my favorite one was Spider-Man when he was like, "Fuck responsibility." I'm like, oh my god.
Well, it was like the inverse of everything. There were a lot of good ones. What was something? Oh, the John Cena one.
Oh yeah.
You can see me.
You can, right? I mean, that's probably bigger than the Hell Hydra one, right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was some really good work.
But I mean, it's more than just that too. It's not even necessarily big stuff that they do for the shock value. It's like when they made Amadeus Cho, who was specifically chosen to succeed Hercules as the god of strength. His entire arc is about strength of mind being more valued now than strength of body, and now suddenly he's the Hulk.
Now he can do both.
And now he like somehow at some point, like Rob, I think you said, didn't he like pull Banner's rage out of him or something?
He literally absorbed the. Apparently, they make it seem like the Hulk is carried through the radiation, so he literally absorbed the irradiation and therefore downloading the Hulk basically into himself.
Which then that. Why is he a threat of turning into the Hulk again in Civil War II? I don't know.
I don't know. It's like how they always depicted it was that, given you can get the radiation, but depending on the person, what they become varies. But he pulled literally Banner's Hulk into himself.
And there's that. There's even smaller, seemingly insignificant stuff, but they still just do it for the shock value. Like recently, that cover and those pages in Miles's book where he and Spider-Gwen are making out on the roof.
That's kind of wrong.
Isn't she like 20 and he's like 16?
Yeah.
Well, supposedly,
people like to forget about that for some reason.
He was like 14, and then he came over, and they aged him up to an unspecified age, but they've been implying he's still in high school.
No, he's still in high school, and he's like
she's in college. She's like 20 something,
and
she is making out with an underage boy.
That ain't right.
That's no.
Like, well, just one more reason to hate Gwen. She's a pedophile. But I digress.
Hey, age ain't nothing but a number, Danny. It's 2017.
Nah,
we gotta accept this. Apparently.
No. Okay, intervention time right now.
For real, you got an issue, man.
Oh, hey, I ain't saying it, man. I'm just saying what other people are saying, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Hashtag free Mad Thad and all that. Anyways,
hashtag love wins. Hashtag equality. Yo, that shit is funny as hell though. When I see people say that, I'm like, the perfect reaction is that fish from SpongeBob with his head looking like what?
Yo, he probably watching this too.
Yo, someone just said if it's on the clock, ready for cock.
Oh my!
Sir, you need to get out of this chat room.
Said if her age is on the clock.
You need to take 12 seats right now.
Well, 12 is on the clock, Rob. He got him there.
The scary thing is it's the highest number on the clock.
He fucked him up with that one.
Stop.
Touche.
All right, but I mean that's the thing. I wanted to chime in on it for a bit. When they do these things, like they're taking genuinely interesting concepts, like the concept of passing on the mantle if it's for a temporary time. They're taking the concept of certain characters just flat out dying and not existing, and they're taking the concept of inclusion, different races, representations, and they're not doing it organically. It's coming off as forced. It's coming off as, hey, we're doing this to be hip. We're doing this to be cool. We're doing this to have all eyes on us. But here's the thing, and this is what I find funny more than anything, and I think y'all will agree on this. One thing that I've noticed being in, and I hate this term, I really do, nerd culture. One thing that I've noticed, with series like, just ranging from science fiction to comic books to video games, manga, everything, it makes up probably the most diverse group of people out there, because these stories, at their core, whatever you're reading, it doesn't matter if it's, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it doesn't matter if you're playing Tomb Raider, it doesn't matter if you're, watching a Star Wars documentary on certain characters' allegiances to the dark side. It doesn't matter what you're watching, what you're enjoying, and what you're entertained by. At the core root of everything, these stories are universal. Why? Because they're written well. As kids, we were never looking at these stories thinking, oh man, this story would be infinitely better if this character was of this ethnicity, of this gender. What we noticed growing up is that we started to get these stories where they actually had good characters who weren't there to fill quotas, who were there organically, and they were great, and we love them, and that's why we're still talking about them today. But what I've noticed now is that they're not making these stories for us. They're not making them for the betterment of the story. They're making it so they can be progressive. They're making it so they can have everybody think that they're so cool because we have a black guy and a Muslim superhero and a transgendered paraplegic, non-binary bystander reporter. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's depressing. It's depressing me. Someone want to add in on that?
Well, yeah, that's where the idea of fake diversity comes in, because they will trumpet diversity all day long. Look at this. We got all these, new black superheroes. We have all these new Asian superheroes. We have all these new Mexican superheroes. We have all these new lesbian, gay, transgender superheroes. We have all this, and yet what's unique about them? What makes anybody, care about them specifically in their personality? Because while you have them diverse on the surface, underneath, they are the exact same preachy SJW template. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them in lockstep with each other. The only time they are not is whenever you need one to be the bad guy so that you can use your character over here to lampshade your beliefs and preach at them and dress them down, so that Tumblr can have a collective orgasm about it. There's no diversity there. Once upon a time, you had characters like You had Spider-Man, who, politically speaking, was always more centrist, moderate. Then you had characters in comics who were notably far more leftist and liberal, like, you had Green Arrow. He was always a lot more liberal than anything else. You had, you had other characters who had a more arguably conservative way of viewing the world. You had characters who had a more liberal interpretation of the justice system, like Daredevil, who didn't he believed in everyone getting a trial if he could help it. And then that contrasted with the Punisher, who believed that some people, they don't deserve that chance, they die.
Yep.
That was diversity. That was a very diverse group of characters, each with very unique traits and personalities and worldviews, who could actually play off each other in an organic way. And I mean, you had that with diverse characters of different ethnicities too. You had Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm.
You had Misty Knight. You had Shang-Chi. You had White Tiger, Storm, Black Panther.
Yeah.
You had all these characters who, could teach each other about the way they viewed the world and could, have realistic conflicts. And they didn't have to turn into, talking to them like they're stupid or like they just said something horrible and they're a terrible person and they need to check their privilege.
Yeah.
Stop mansplaining. Stop giving your unsolicited opinions on Israel. Stop forcing your gender constructs onto this alien species. You don't know what they identify as or what they conform to.
Don't forget, Danny. Don't forget, you got to ask me about my feminist agenda.
Oh, God, yes, that Mockingbird cover. That was like the most blatant, in-your-face thing. And isn't that comic getting canceled?
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, most of these comics go in the way of the New
canceled.
52. Oh.
It's getting canceled. Don't quote me on that, but that is what I heard. But it doesn't surprise me, when you have Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl used to be, while not being drop-dead gorgeous, she was an attractive, physically fit young lady. There was no getting around that. What made her kind of creepy and off-putting to everybody was the fact that, for one, she had that squirrel musk on her at all times, which was a very strong smell. And number two, she could be kind of forward, pushy, naive, blunt. And that was why other people kind of, shied away from her. She was weird and quirky, but at least as a character, she was unique, And she was also believable as a superhero because, compare her and how she looked then to the fact that she is basically Lena Dunham now.
Yeah.
Like they uggoed her up. They threw the pounds on her. She has a weird cylindrical body shape now.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't even look like she should be able to run about 2 blocks before getting completely winded. Let's be honest here.
Right.
One thing,
even with the Blob, when he was doing the whole supervillain thing, they accounted for the fact that man could not run very fast. He was slow. What made him unstoppable was that he was a tank. Anything you threw at him bounced right off. But now it's like, no, we're going to give them these unrealistic body types that are quote unquote realistic body types. And we're going to have them doing everything that a superhero can do because we say they can.
Yeah.
Which, I guess you can do. But when you take an existing character and change their design to do that, why?
Yeah. That's the best point you bring up. It's like, mind you, if all these characters had already blown up at some point, already have, with all this time, why do you feel now you have to change them for who? And that's the thing I always used to wonder.
Like, one thing I've noticed, and it's been about 2 characters in particular. During Civil War II, if you read the Pyro Man and Iron Fist issues that were covering that, okay, so Ulysses has a vision that Luke Cage is going to break into prison to get Danny Rand out, and, because he's Luke Cage, he kind of does do that. But the thing about it is that when Captain Marvel shows up, guess who's with her? Storm. And then Luke Cage points out, Luke Cage was like, Storm, you're legit gonna tell me that for everything the X-Men have been through and for everything that you fight for, you're okay with like dogmatic, like, basically like 1984, like, just throwing people in jail for something they might do. Like, you can't be okay with that. And Storm really just didn't answer. And then you got people like X-23 who basically, and here's the thing I liked about X-23. One thing about her character, like for years and years and years, was that even though she was bred as a clone to be exactly like Wolverine, she didn't want to be like Wolverine. Like, her whole point of her character was, I kind of want to just find my own way and like not be this monster everyone keeps telling me that I am. Like, even when she went and joined the X-Men, went to the X Mansion, she kind of didn't want to go on missions. And even through all of that, she was like, I just kind of want to have a normal life. But then the second Logan dies, she's like, I want to honor his memory. And I'm like, what? That makes no sense, because up until that point, both Logan and you yourself say you didn't want that life for yourself. In fact, one time Logan was he's no Wolverine. He always leaves like, the X Mansion, just go do whatever it is he wants to. And X-23 was like, take me with you, because she kind of sees him like a father, which I don't know if that's true or not, but
Well, basically,
I mean,
Yeah, I
would
mean,
he be her
in
father?
in
Would
a
he be
way.
like, or would he be like a female version? It doesn't matter. Anyway,
You gonna blow your brain out trying to rationalize that.
like, but like, they basically have a long. It was a nice talk. They have a long talk about it, and they're basically going like, "This isn't the life you want." It's like, one of the things you got to learn, kid, is that we can't be the monsters that people tell us that we are. And up until that point, you kind of see her, kind of grow into her own person. And then, like I said, the second Logan dies, it's just, I'm Wolverine now, and I'm like,
Yep. As soon as that
what?
suit came on,
I
everything
was,
changed. All that
I
out the
was,
window.
and it just kind of
man.
made no sense to me.
Logan dying too. Speaking of that, that's another example of shock value that is going to be undone. Like, I mean, they're even teasing it. Deadpool's literally got a button that can resurrect Wolverine, the original Wolverine, at any time he chooses. And he's just sitting there debating on whether or not he should press it. Would he want me to press it? Should I press it anyway just to annoy? They're taunting you with it. They're going
Yeah.
to bring him back at some point. They're not even shying away from it. And I know that they're trying to like play with that as like a joke, but in a way, it's actually more insulting than a joke.
And
And
I just want to add real quick. Yeah, even though old man Logan is holding down the slot right now, it's not the Logan though.
Oh yeah, Old Man Logan's actually pretty decent from what I've read of it, because
Yeah, I mean
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty decent and all, but it's like you can't expect him to be the permanent, the permanent replacement though. It's like they're gonna find a way to swap him out.
And that's the thing about it, because like, even like, okay, so like, Old Man Logan, he had a version of, in his world there was a version of X-23 that was there, and even in his world she wanted to have a normal life with X-23. So it's not like, it's like, that's one thing about her character that's like, that seemed consistent. She didn't want to be this, exactly like Wolverine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it just reminded me of a slight problem I have with this old man Logan run. They essentially saying that he has memories of almost a lot of current things that are happening. But I was like, a lot of drastic things happen. You mean to tell me this was exactly your past? Your past wasn't that different in any kind of way? Like there'd be moments like when he met up with Sabretooth, like something that happened relatively uh recent. You talking about he
Yeah.
will remember it though? Like I was like, but nah, man, your life
Huh?
had to be somewhat different.
No, that makes no sense, because Jean, because yeah, the time displaced Jean Grey, she was talking to him, and she was like, she took him to New York, and then like when Logan flashed back to his world, New York was getting destroyed. Like the Punisher got killed, Daredevil got killed, Moon Knight I think was dead, and then she flashed him over to remember that point in Old Man Logan where you saw like pinfalls in the body of what was his name? Yeah, like Hank Pym, yeah. They
Yeah.
showed exactly how he died, and she flashed him over there, and his body wasn't there. So like Jean went through and showed him how this world is different, but still that makes no sense.
Yeah, but it's like, and I can't remember. I'm gonna check the source after we get off this, but it's like I specifically remember him remembering something that Sabretooth brought up because now they've all come to peace that this ain't the same Logan, but he like remembers certain things that was like I was like that really shouldn't have happened in his time, given that things were different.
Mm. Man, here's the thing though. Getting back to the diversity topic, that really gets me is how little Marvel seems to understand. The fact that it's not even their principles that they're putting in here that's irking people. I mean, there have been like some pretty liberal characters and ideas and story arcs that have appeared in comic books throughout the years that'll come with the territory depending on who's writing and how much they're able to keep their political ideology separate from the character they're writing, because your character won't always share your ideology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but it's how it's presented. It's the way that it's so ham-fisted and lacking in any kind of subtlety or subtext, and it's also just how badly it's written, like genuinely badly written, and it's not that it's bad. It's not just that it's bad, even. It's that it's insultingly bad because they're talking down to you, the reader, the whole time. Like they need to educate you. Like make you aware of your privilege or make you aware of your oppression. And ironically, one of the characters that you would think would have some of the most legitimate gripes with that, being Luke Cage, has actually apparently gone to that the absolute freaking least recently. Like, this man was legit framed and put in prison for something he didn't do and had experiments performed on him by I believe even the warden actually chose him because the warden was a racist douchebag.
yeah.
And yet you don't see him moping about it. You don't see him talking about, how the white man always got to do this. He'll joke about it, but that's about it. I mean, for crying out loud, his best friend's a rich white guy. He's somehow the only character who would both have a legitimate gripe there and yet doesn't sit there whining about it.
Right.
Right.
And I don't understand it. I just
here's
don't.
the thing. And what I've noticed it more frequently as time has gone on. Like you mentioned in the beginning, you were talking about how people don't read comics. People read, what was the word? Write-ups, editorials, or whatever?
Think pieces.
Think pieces, thank you. That's the culture that we're living in nowadays. It's not necessarily what is on screen or what is portrayed. It's what isn't. That's the biggest problem. Because you see this time and time again from people. You have this discussion of diversity. What is true diversity? Like, you look at the textbook definition of diversity and it'll be like, oh, a multi-ethnic team of doing all this stuff. There's diversity in skin color, and then there's diversity in thought. So diversity in thought is what reigns supreme in the end, because, you look at these things and you look at, if we have everyone from one particular race and ethnicity, they'll all come together in this pool and it'll be a great, happy thing. That's good and everything on paper, on skin, like on the surface. But what you notice, like if you live in the real world, let's just be honest here. People sometimes go with the individuals that they feel the most comfortable with. And for some black people, it's with a lot of black people. Likewise, there are tons of black people who, I can't stand, but there are also tons of black people I'm super cool with. And the same thing for white people, Hispanics, Asians. What you learn is that you jive with people who you're cool with, not because of what their fucking skin color is. And that's the thing, though. We need to have these buzzwords, apparently. We need to have the fact that we can say that we're progressive instead of actually showing why these characters hold up. Like when you mention the Punisher and the Daredevil and their, conflict of how they both want the same things. Also, shout out to Daredevil season 2. The first 6 episodes were amazing. They both want the same things. They just go about, I will preach the first 6 episodes of that season until I die, bro. So good.
Yeah.
So
good half.
Yes, exactly. And then they had to add the female, which again, that could be a problem with fucking diversity, Yo. So, and here's the thing that you notice as time goes on. You finally get to this utopia, right? This utopia where you have one of everything. What happens next? Nobody knows what happens next. Why? Because we spent so much time doing this and fitting everything instead of focusing on the stuff that actually matters. And that's the reason why the comic sales are tanking. It's not because there's a bunch of racist white guys in their parents' basements and they don't want to buy a comic because it has a girl on it, or they don't want to go to the Star Wars movie because there's a black stormtrooper. No, it's because these people see that the quality of the stories is being sacrificed in order to push these superficial things that were honestly the reason why, well, not to this extent, the diversity, but the spamming of events, we always have to come up with something new and edgy. The reason why both industries almost crashed. Like, people seem to forget these things.
Mm.
Yeah, well, and also, the fact, I don't know, you basically probably just already said it, but and also in the most lamest of terms, that they're taking away your option. Whether you don't want to indulge in that or not, now you kind of don't have an option. You want to read Marvel, you got to read all this stuff you're surrounded by, man. Yeah. So it's like you can't just get your new fix of original Logan or Bruce Banner's Hulk anymore. You got to backtrack now. They took away the options, and most people, if you take away their options just out of spite, they'll go somewhere else, or they'll just pull back. Period. Like.
Yep.
Comics Explained. I watched this video on this actually very topic. He brought up exactly what you said, Rob. He was like, "When was the last time you've ever been comfortable being told you don't have a choice in anything?" Mm-hmm. It's like that's just how human beings are. And one thing I noticed about DC Rebirth, which I kind of liked, there's some there's some good stories, some in stories, but one thing I will say about DC Rebirth is that if you've been following Green Lantern for decades, you have the Green Lantern book with Hal Jordan for all the old time fans. But if you're new to Green Lanterns, there is a book called titled Green Lanterns, which has Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz, 2 new Green Lanterns for new fans. So if you got for your new fan, you can go to that book, and if you're an old fan, you got you have the book with all the old time Lanterns. So in that case, it's more of like an everybody wins kind of thing. And that's the kind of stuff I thought that was pretty cool that DC did, because that actually works. I mean, in that case, everybody wins. You're not telling someone you have to read this or you have to read that. But Marvel, for whatever reason, just doesn't understand that.
Exactly. Trying to swindle you. I like that you brought that up, because when it comes to the Green Lantern, I always felt, Kyle Rayner was pretty underappreciated. So it's like, at moments I'll go find his run. Like, I read his whole run as a White Lantern. I thought that was dope.
Yeah.
So, what's it? Somebody else want to jump in on that?
I don't know. I thought Danny was getting ready to chime in after I finished up, and then you went through. Was there something else you wanted to say, Danny?
Did Danny die?
I'm looking at the screen. He dropped it.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, something happened to my mic. I don't know. I must have hit the mute button, and for some reason, Hangouts doesn't register and unmute. So, what I was another thing that I was actually going to bring up is an example of this whole diversity thing and this almost obsession with it, and then this this obsession with diversity, and you have to be thought of as the progressive writer for the character,
Yeah.
I would like to point to Brian Michael Bendis and the Spider-Man characters, if I could, for a minute, in that Bendis, when he created Miles Morales, he wanted to create a character that he said I could see myself in. When I was a kid, I was told I couldn't be Batman or I couldn't be Superman, but I could be Spider-Man, because you couldn't see his face under that mask. And Spider-Man is so much more than just the person underneath it and the skin color. It's a symbol, and it's like,
no.
First of all, that's yeah, I know. It's like Peter Parker is what made Spider-Man.
What? Spider-Man was not a symbol until fucking Dan Slott made that damn. Oh god, why did DC not file a lawsuit over that damn spider symbol shit?
Right. Oh, right, the spider
but-
signal.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah,
they
but
really
the
went
thing
there.
is-
Nah, dark time.
The thing about that though is that we had diverse, Spider-Man characters already. We had women in the Spider-Woman vein of things. We had Jessica Drew. We had who are the other two? Maddie Franklin. We had Anya Corazon, who was she was actually from Central or South America, I believe.
Oh,
And we had Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. He was half Irish, half Mexican.
who is still loved? He has a dedicated following.
Oh, we talking
know.
about the second best Spider-Man.
On the real.
Oh yeah, got to.
He is
And
serious.
see, that's an example right there, though, of passing the mantle in a way that respects the original character and also keeps the new character unique.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not just a Peter Parker clone, he's in a very different world. So, and he came up to his powers through very different circumstances. So he is himself a different character. Now, there are going to be certain core traits they have in common, but they are their own unique characters. Part of the problem with Miles Morales, at least early on, is that, number one, Bendis pretty much openly admitted he created him to pander.
Yeah.
And second of all, most of his story arcs in the beginning were just rehashes of Peter Parker stories. This coming from the man after he said that one of the reasons he had to get rid of Peter Parker is he had all these story ideas, but they just didn't work with Peter Parker. And then Peter's gone, Miles steps in, and a lot of them are almost the same story,
Exactly.
Almost
Yeah.
verbatim.
or things that, why did you say you couldn't do this with Peter again? Nothing. There were few stories that he had at that point that mandated a different character.
Well, here's the thing I've noticed.
And honestly, even now, he doesn't have too many stories that mandated he be a different character.
Exactly. Here's the thing I've noticed, and I think you guys, you've seen this. And to be honest, we're kind of guilty of it too. Whenever there is a character that we see of a different race, usually black in this case, whenever they do something that's like cool or whatever, it automatically just gets elevated just cause. Like, to be honest, we've seen this happen, like we see someone do something badass, they're like, oh shit, that thing was lit, man. Whoa, man, this is badass. That's honestly part of the reason why I think people are fucking circle jerking around Miles, because
bigger, badder effect.
Exactly, the bigger, badder effect, because you can't really do that, if you had Peter Parker because be honest, we've seen Peter Parker, we've seen his weaknesses, where he faults, his struggles. He's not really a character that's had too many OP moments. Likewise, you can't do it on a random new character because people will say, hey, they're OP, this isn't interesting, I don't like this. But you introduce it with this guy who's taken up the mantle, and he's of a different ethnicity, and you don't know anything about him, but you like him because he's black. The bigger, badder effect is going to pay off more. Like, that's what I've noticed with Miles, because I ask people, why do you like Miles Morales? The first thing they bring up, he's black. And I'm just like,
exactly.
I'm like, all right, well, you know what? T'Challa, he's black. So, but what makes Miles as good of a character, someone that you list on the top 5 best black superheroes? What makes Miles the same as T'Challa or as another character, which this is how I know someone is a complete fraud. If they're saying that they can't relate to a black character in Spider-Man, yet they ignore the fucking Prowler. Will the real Hobby fucking Brown please stand up? No, obviously not, because none of y'all niggas actually read Spider-Man and know who this man is. All right?
Well, unfortunately, the real Hobby Brown is now dead, and he a clone. I'm not even going to touch on
Did
the
they
clone conspiracy. That I could do a whole video on that. Oh my
did they
God.
seriously just go through the whole Marvel encyclopedia and just how can we mess all this up?
Yeah, I think
All
they
of it.
Dictionary,
did.
bro. They got a dictionary of everything.
They went through
Honestly,
A through Z plus, man.
I think what happened is Dan Slott kind of knows he's on his way out because his contract's coming up for renewal, and I've noticed he's been a lot more aggressive, a lot more ornery, a lot more. He's trying to change as much as he can on an almost irreparable level before he leaves, so that his mark will be permanently left on the character. Spider-Man will be less recognizable as Stan Lee's creation and more recognizable as Dan Slott's alteration, and that's what he's going for.
More like Dan Slott's fuckery.
I have a theory, and y'all know I've been saying this for years. I feel Dan Slott is a DC spy. He is Oswald Cobblepot, and he is destroying Marvel from the inside. Like, for real. He is destroying Marvel from the inside.
I could see that. Well, to be fair, I would agree with that if Marvel wasn't doing this to every other title.
He started it.
So are they all Hydra because they're infiltrating and infecting everybody?
And you want to know the biggest hint that he gave himself away that he is the Penguin is when he added that spider signal.
Oh god!
Oh my god!
It all adds up. Stay woke, man. Stay woke.
Listen, sir, you can save that for the Hunt the Truth podcast. This is the NXP podcast.
Man, I'm just saying. I know. I know the truth.
I mean, like one
of the things.
Wait, hold on a second, Jameel, you want to say something?
When it comes to Miles, okay, here's the thing. I don't hate Miles as a character. Okay, so when I first heard about Miles, I thought, this is what I initially thought, because, I used to, because I really wasn't as big on comics back then. In fact, I had stopped reading them. I thought Miles was getting introduced in a similar way that we got Terry McGinnis in the Batman Beyond series. I thought that Peter was just, Peter from the Ultimate Universe was just going to, after everything that was going on in that universe at that point, after Ultimatum, that really destroyed that universe. And then I thought Peter was just going to say, you know what? I'm retiring. Like, I just cannot deal with this anymore. So I thought that what was going to happen is Miles was going to take up the mantle. And what's going to happen is that Peter was going to basically, be like, in a sense, Miles is Batman. And then from there, Miles, you would see, sort of like this kind of mentor trainee kind of dynamic, because there's never actually really been that in any kind of Spider-Man story. And I actually thought that was kind of cool, but when I saw what they were doing and I saw that wasn't the case, I was like, oh, well, that's just kind of dumb. Because even in the main,
I like how subtle that's just kind of dumb.
Yeah, just get it on the table.
Yeah, because even in the main 616 universe, you guys do know that even though both now Miles and Peter are in the same universe, they don't interact at all. Miles still has trouble developing his powers. And Peter, someone who could actually teach him a thing about his powers, doesn't help him. And I'm just like,
yeah, exactly. Something's funny is I just want to throw this in there real quick. Can you imagine if you just go in that universe right there and you overhear someone talking about I fell off this building and I got saved by Spider-Man, and then they ask which one, red and blue or black and red? I think it was the black and red.
Oh, okay. Now here's the thing though. I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of them introducing another Spider-Man. I don't want to say Spider-Man. I wouldn't mind it, but in the context of the Ultimate Universe, it wouldn't make much sense because they're hell-bent on keeping Peter young as hell. There's just no growth, nothing for him. He's just staying permanently in high school.
On that note, see, that's the thing. What they're trying to do is basically ice out Peter Parker as a unique character. They've been trying to do it for years. They've been trying to get rid of every trace of his relationship with Mary Jane. They've been trying to bury that. I mean, even in Spider-Verse, when they covered the MC2 universe where Peter had retired and his daughter was Spider Girl now, or Spider Woman later on. She, in that universe, Peter gets brutally murdered there. Mary Jane even almost was implied to kind of, how do I say this, not care when he died. Like she barely registered that he was dead, except for like, oh yeah, he's dead. Here, have his suit. But then in the ensuing Spider-Verse spin-off series, the whole Web Warriors thing or whatever they were doing, they actually killed off Mayday for a while. That they insisted they didn't, but they did. They had to pull some strings to undo that. And she was supposed to go out a heroic death. In a heroic death, the thing is, it wasn't really. It was just kind of lackluster. This, by the way, coming immediately on the heels after they had to have their new favorite, Spider-Gwen, basically tell May off, like big time, when they were both stuck in the back of a police vehicle. Then, it's like, who's supposed to basically become the de facto leader? Well, the person that it seemed like was being prepped for that was Anya, but they pass over her. And then Anya is actually living with May's family and the alive Spider-Man version of Uncle Ben, who's kind of a coward. And,
Wow, so
playing
they
with
had
Benji and everything. But
hold up. So Spider-Verse had 2 alive Uncle Bens.
No,
Yes.
the alive. Well, no, the Uncle Ben that was alive was a Spider-Man.
Yeah,
the universe he was from.
Yeah, that's the one I was referring to.
Yeah, he a coward though. But
wow,
just get it on the table right there.
You know what, man? Like, don't even hold nothing back. Just toss it out there. He a coward.
But for some reason, Anya, well, it's pretty evident by her name, Anya Corazon. She had the brown hair, she had the dark brown eyes, she had the darker skin tone. But when she's living in this new Parker family, her skin tone got lightened, her hair color got lightened, and they gave her blue eyes. I'm not kidding.
Are you serious?
Oh, God.
I'm not kidding. It's like because she started becoming more like prominent or something, or because they didn't want her to be as prominent. I don't know. It's like they were turning her literally into a white girl.
Bruh. Wow.
And
they're not even trying to be
series, that series was a mess. That series was a complete and total mess.
Wait, hold on. Pause. They did what?
Yeah, Anya. They changed Anya's look. She was actually drawn with like a light complexion and like lighter brown hair, and
they really tried that, man. They really tried that.
Okay, so all right, so someone in Marvel gonna catch this work. All right, put it on that one.
Go.
Fire them up.
Yeah. And the funny thing, though, is that there are actually of things at Marvel right now that are going far better than the main line at Marvel. The more obscure titles, Power Man and Iron Fist, Luke and Danny's Adventures, those have actually still been pretty darn good. The current Black Panther run is a little more talky and a little less action heavy, but it's actually been really good. And it's actually covering a sort of political intrigue in Wakanda right now, because when there's civil unrest, there's a new guru that's kind of getting a following who seems dedicated to bringing down the monarchy, and T'Challa's trying to figure out, he's got legitimate grievances and actually cares for his people, or whether or not he's a manipulator trying to get power for himself. You have his sister doing her own thing. She's actually got her own spin-off.
Oh,
I think it was a mini series that was running for a while, but yeah, she had like a little spin-off thing going on. So they're doing a lot of lore and world building in Black Panther right now. It's actually been pretty good. And the writer again has been mostly keeping his personal politics out of the book, or at least not being ham-fisted with them, which is good. Good. Because that was like the biggest thing I was worried about when I heard who was taking over that book.
Yeah. Tasai.
But and then,
what'd you say his name was? Tyrone?
Wow.
No. It was something codes. Let me see. I am gonna butcher this.
Tyrone.
No,
Stop.
Ta-Nehisi Coates or Coates. I don't know. I'm gonna go to Wikipedia. Let me get that. But yeah, he's a writer. He wrote for the Atlantic.
The last name.
Yeah, it's Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah, Tane. I'm about to get that Wikipedia. Here we go. All right,
because he's
y'all said Tyrone, right? Yeah.
Oh God.
You need to stop.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Tyrone Colt, as Rob calls him, Tyrone Colt.
He's got a bit of a reputation as like a political activist. So.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing,
or
though.
as someone once called him, more like political blacktivist.
Well, that's what it is, man. Stay woke.
Regular Al Sharpton up in here.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he's done a good job keeping the book, mostly the book.
This man is Tyrone Phillips.
And separate. Oh wow. But it's just interesting to me how like the more obscure titles in Marvel right now are doing so much better than the mainline stuff, where they're insisting on being so upfront and ham-fisted with this progressive nonsense. And then the perfect example that I love to cite with this is when you look at Dan Slott. Okay, Dan Slott cannot help but put his own beliefs into these characters' mouths that he writes, even if he, the character himself has in the past espoused beliefs that run almost opposite to what he's having them say.
Oh, you mean like when they turn Peter into an atheist, even though he's like
actually
Catholic or whatever?
No, he's not Catholic. Actually, he was raised Protestant. But
Protestant, yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, Peter has literally met and talked to God.
I remember that.
But he doesn't. But he don't believe he exists, apparently.
And
the beautiful thing about that is that was written and accepted, during the run of J. Michael Straczynski. I mean, J. Michael Straczynski. What?
Is everything okay there, Rob?
Yeah.
Are you all right, bro?
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that, guy.
You just laughed out of nowhere. I think. What happened?
Nah, man, I was joking.
No, you want to share? Oh. You want to share with the panel? People are confused, man. What the fuck happened?
Nah, man, no, I was just joking.
You just casually choking.
Yeah, I was retaining too much air.
Wow.
All right. Well, J. Michael Straczynski, though, he was an outspoken and declared
Declared
agnostic,
what, nigga?
I thought it was 8.
And the dramatic pauses, man. We need to buy somebody with a piano.
The gut back there, Chris. And,
wait, what happened?
Yeah, you're sitting there like squeaking, man. What's going on? Why are you trying not to laugh?
No, dude, Rob, he legit just laughed out of nowhere after you said Peter had a meeting with God. That shit was just so wrong.
Yeah, I don't know how this just got derailed for a second and nothing happened.
Nah, you were laughing at Tyrone Biggums.
Right,
back on track. Straczynski himself has no religious beliefs, doesn't even necessarily believe that there's any kind of God, higher power, etc. Yet he recognizes that Peter was raised to believe that, and Peter does believe that, and he wrote him accordingly. I mean, he wrote Peter praying. He wrote Peter, everything. And then, this book comes along too, and it tied into what Straczynski himself had written before. And it's like that right there is an example keeping your beliefs separate from this character, and then Slott having his bizarre, like super pacifistic, no one dies vow thrown in there. Like he got so extreme that Peter wouldn't even allow any of the villains to die by their own action.
This sounds like a Nintendo game.
It got stupid. But honestly, I think
they may actually sell some copies if they make this into a game.
Well, there you go. Nobody dies.
Which is why, though, I think honestly, the person that heck, I'd actually pick to run Marvel, if not at least take over the Spider-Man title.
Who, Awada?
Would be
Kazura?
would be probably the guy who was more or less the anti-Dan Slott, and that is Jerry Conway.
Oh yeah, the GOAT.
Because that guy right there, not only does he get Spider-Man and his other characters on a level that is like hard to parallel.
Oof, preach
I
it.
mean, that guy is like my favorite Spider-Man writer of all time.
Preach it, yo.
But he is like the epitome of keeping his own beliefs separate from the character. I mean, again, Jerry himself, he is an outspoken declared leftist liberal. I don't think he quite goes off the progressive deep end, but you know, he's open about what he believes. But when he writes as, you know, the character dictates, because he recognizes this is not just my character. This character is not me. This character is this character. You know, he's not my mouthpiece. And he was very effective at writing him and developing his supporting cast beautifully. And I just, you know, I don't think he gets enough credit for that, honestly. But when you look at that and you look at how professional he is with people, you know, and then you take a look at Dan Slott and how just completely unprofessional he is, both with the character and with the fans. You know, that man lurks chat rooms and message boards and comic review sites and goes in the comments, and he will spend hours arguing with people. He will, if you have your social media accounts connected at all, go looking for past tweets or you know, any videos you've uploaded to YouTube or what have you, and actually publicly tweet them out, try to humiliate you into shutting up. Like,
I know
that is how.
He's got that troll in the dungeon syndrome.
Okay, I'm not gonna. Full disclosure, he did that to me. Because because I was telling him that, you know, I don't like what you're doing with this character, man. This is like fundamentally not this character. I gave him feedback. What did he do? He said, "Aren't you the guy who?" And it's like, "What are you talking about?" And he went back and he went into my old YouTube account, found my review of Amazing Spider-Man 700 and posted it out there.
Too petty right now.
He is like obscenely unprofessional and petty.
Right.
And according to him, he showed it to everybody in the Marvel offices, and they all had a good laugh at my freak out. And it's
Wow.
Dude,
the hell? I didn't know this.
That's what I mean. This man is like.
I didn't know you actually got their attention. Apparently.
Oh yeah, that he don't like me. I've squared up with him a few times. He does not like me.
I remember what he does.
Man.
What he does constantly is he mutes people. Anything that has like anyone that just types his name and isn't added.
Oh yeah, he'll name search himself. You don't even have to mention him directly on Twitter. You just write his name. He'll find you and he will start stuff.
Yeah.
Yo, that's how he know you up to no good. So he just want to go and silence all the red pills, man.
What's funny,
he thinks he Agent Smith, yo.
What's funny though is that technically speaking, the people at Marvel aren't supposed to openly criticize each other. But if you have been reading the Renew Your Vows book, that man Conway has put in so many direct slaps at Dan Slott. It's not even funny.
Bro, I'm telling you, they know who he is, man.
There have been so many things poking fun, not only at Dan Slott, really, but the current main Marvel continuity. And when you look at what's going on there and how things are developing there, and the fact that Peter Parker is actually acting like Peter Parker again, Mary Jane is acting like Mary Jane again, they have their daughter, and she's freaking adorable. You have, you know, you have a world where these other heroes are still alive. They even confirmed that the Fantastic Four are still alive and operating in that universe. The Avengers, the classic Avengers, are still alive and operating in that universe. The
Pack-
X-Men are about to appear in issue 6. And by the X-Men, I mean Professor Xavier in his hover chair, Wolverine in his classic outfit, Cyclops, Jean Grey, the X-Men. The X-Men before everything went to complete crap. This universe is shaping up to be more in line with what the main universe should be than the main universe itself. And it's incredible. It's like this man knows what people want and knows how they can fix it. Give him some power there.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like, everybody's go ahead, just pack your bags. You about to jump to this universe. Just follow this one.
I just, that's, man. Oh, and newsflash, this is no surprise to anybody, but I'm still blocked by Dan Slott. That's funny.
Oh man, I'm up here falling behind. I gotta get blocked. I'm gonna think of something that's gonna piss him off tomorrow.
So can I just like tweet to him, yo, bro, why you look like what's his face, Penguin?
Do it, yo, Oswald Cobblepot looking ass.
Yo, we gotta make a fake birth certificate. Yeah,
you gotta really get under his skin to get him to block you, because otherwise he'll just mute you and ignore you.
But here's the thing, though. I probably what I did was just, since you can word it so much more eloquently than I just probably retweeted the stuff that you said, maybe put a tweet here or there, and that dude blocked me. Oh.
Yeah, he does that. I told you, he is petty to the max.
I mean, and like going on to the whole topic of like, I get to say like diversity and like politics and comics. I mean, one thing I noticed, I was reading like a lot of 60s and 70s runs, like the past, preparing for this. And one thing I noticed is like, around the time MLK got shot, it was this one comic, and I can't remember if it was Green Arrow or Green Lantern, but Green Lantern was getting ready to, the Guardians of the Galaxy had, Guardians of the Galaxy, that's what it said, Guardians of the Universe. Yeah, so
about to say, this is getting interesting.
I was like, hold on. Not Peter Quill. No.
It's the amalgam universe.
Yeah, the people with the...
This is about to get interesting.
We'll
continue.
The dudes with the blue heads that never shut up. But
the Guardians of Ola.
Yeah. God, what's wrong with but what happened was, so MLK got shot or whatever. And what happened was they tried to call him back to report back to Oa. And Green Arrow was like, yeah, you'll go ahead and do that because, you're not even much of a man because you're just basically the Guardian's whipping boy. And I was like, yo, Green Arrow, chill, what's going on? What'd he do? And then from there, he started talking about he said all the racial unrest and injustice going around in the country as a parallel at that time during, real life. Because, even at the height of the civil rights era, race relations between black people and white people were not good at all, and Marvel and DC was parallel trying to draw a parallel off of that, and I thought that was actually pretty cool and appropriate for the times, and it kind of something that kind of resonates with me. But if you go back and read one of the current Captain America Sam Wilson comics, there's this group of teenagers in this college who are protesting against something, and they throw something and they're like, here's your trigger warning, and I'm like, all right, this cannot be happening. And yeah, that's an actual comic page. But it's just
and people being reprimanded for mansplaining.
Oh man, what
apparently
group of chumps? You said he's what?
Apparently, someone in the chat just said Dan Slott is a cup. I'm like, oh, I mean, is he? Or is he just saying that?
Dan Slott is a what?
A cuck.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
by definition, yeah.
Okay. Which definition of cuck are
we're talking about the legit definition, not the one that the fucking alt writers have hijacked.
Okay. Okay. So basically, so he lets his wife get lawn dick in front of him. All right, gotcha.
Yeah. I guess so.
That would imply he has a wife.
Oh,
I can't imagine why he's still single. I mean, he's such a ray of sunshine.
Bro, I'm telling you, know why he's single, man. Ain't nobody feeling having penguins in the crib. Dude.
They want any deformed ass children and shit. Yo,
Right,
but
man.
real quick, I think we've spoken much on diversity and how it pertains to things. I want to like just spend the next 10 minutes because that's all we have before we out. Because I think this is pretty much self-explanatory. It kind of does go hand in hand. Especially now with all these decisions, shock value killing. You remember when Superman died and how that was a big deal? You remember how it was the impossible? DC did the impossible. They killed, the last son of Krypton, the invincible big blue Boy Scout in the sky. And they just did that, just like, yeah, we gonna do it. What you gonna do about it? Nowadays, it's like, oh, yeah, we're gonna kill them off for like a couple of weeks. I don't feel like writing.
Well,
it,
they did more
probably sometime next year.
The beautiful thing about that though is that they didn't just do that. When they killed him, they had the final issues, his funeral, and then that was it. For like 3-4 months, there were no Superman comics printed. Period. Like that seemed at the time so final, no teasing, no, oh, he's gonna come back, then suddenly out of nowhere,
dirt rising off the coffin, none of that.
Suddenly out of nowhere, all these Superman comics, every single one of them got revived and focused on a different character. One of them was supposedly a clone of Superman. One of them was someone wanted to take up his mantle, and two of them were at least on the surface claiming to be Superman in the form of the Eradicator and the Cyborg.
Yep.
And that was an interesting thing because you had no idea what was going on, who was who, which was which, if they were lying. And then it culminated in Superman's return. And the fact that man was like so done with the BS that people were pulling out there that he not only pulled himself out of that rejuvenation chamber before he was ready, but he actually got, dressed up in a tactical suit and grabbed a big-ass gun out of the Fortress of Solitude and took that with him to go start kicking it.
Man was on cleanup duty.
Yeah, it was... But
Super Punisher.
It was actually, especially for its time, it was a really good arc, though, and it was really well done. And to me, it's like one of the best examples of if you want to, quote unquote, kill off a character and do it in a way that's like meaningful, because it wasn't even just that they killed him and he came back. It was what that meant, what it stood for. You have to understand like the symbology of Superman, but that's beside the point. The point is that was a good example of it. But the problem is, everyone started trying to copy it to varying degrees of, unsuccess. I mean, Batman sort of tried it with Nightfall, except they didn't actually kill Bruce.
Yeah.
They just kind of crippled him.
Yeah, they sidelined for a good little while, though. I mean, it wasn't quite death, but it was something.
But I mean, a lot of comics started trying to do that, and at first it was, it was interesting. I mean, when you look to it, like Spider-Man, in terms of comic deaths, traditionally has had like the best track record of, when a character dies, they die. Like you look at the Stacys, you look at Uncle Ben, you look at, but now that's all been undone as of Dan Slott's last little arc, except, well, technically, I mean, they're clones,
but still, they touch the characters though. That's annoying. That's annoying.
Yeah,
At the end of the day,
Gwen had a clone, but what I liked about Gwen having a clone back then is that while she had a lot of Gwen's memories and everything, she at the same time, knew that they were foreign memories to her. It was like they were a dream rather than an actual memory. She was kind of her own person, and it's like she knew she was supposed to love Peter, but she didn't really love Peter. That was one of the things with her. And it's also why she did eventually, run off, change her name, change her look, start her own life. But
And she became a clone of
but
Hydro Man. Oh wait, wrong show.
wow.
Sorry, I
But
got my Spider-Mans mixed up.
but I mean, even that is getting undone. It's getting to the point where when we see a character die, we don't even get near as mad as we should anymore because we're just like
Nice.
we're not mad because I can't believe you killed off this character. How could you? We're mad because I can't believe you're killing another character again, and then you're gonna act like we're supposed to be so surprised when you bring him back 6 issues later.
Exactly.
Except War Machine, because he's still dead.
He'll be back. He will be back.
He will be back. He will definitely be back.
The funniest one is
by the end of this year. I
know who won't be back though? Goliath. That man is still dead. From the original Civil War, that clone.
Much as I hate to admit it, I don't even think anyone remembers that man.
I know. That's the worst part.
They don't. Yo, the funniest one though is watching them try to play this whole card with Logan though. Like, in my opinion, I think that's the funniest. There's even a website dedicated to you. I think it's called "Is Wolverine Alive Yet?" Like,
it's kind of like, has DC done something stupid?
It's made by the same. It's made by the same people. I believe it's called "Is Wolverine Alive Yet?" And when you go to it, they tell you whether he is or he isn't, and they don't count old man Logan. They say as of right now, Logan is still dead.
Don't worry about it, guys. He won't be back.
What they did to Bruce Banner, though. Okay, so after he got killed by Hawkeye, the uncanny Avengers go fight the Hand, and the Hand resurrects Bruce Banner.
They resurrected the man.
They're resurrecting the man. But then Dr. Voodoo was like, no, I got this. Watch this. Boom.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Right.
And he's
right.
like,
this man just come when he wants. He just show up when he wants to.
And he was just like, it's like, and it was actually kind of sad what he said to Bruce. He was like, I am so sorry for what happened to you. I hope you can find peace. And like, you could actually see like Bruce was genuinely hurt because he was killed by his friends. And that was like, and like, so basically you just see Bruce like, pass on. And I'm like,
I do got to say though, I'm not 100% sure why he'd be. See, this is what I mean when they say they can't keep their continuity straight, because he's hurt there. And yet, according to Hawkeye, he was specifically asked by Bruce to do it.
Yeah. And
I don't think Bruce was expecting that.
One last thing to add on top of that, though, also they wanted to play into the fact that he was also upset that his undead Hulk body had been killing innocent people. So he was also hurt. He was also hurt about that as well.
Oh my God, zombie Hulk.
He didn't. I don't even think he said a word. I think when Dr. Voodoo looked at him, he was just looked up at him crying.
I think the only time I liked Amadeus was when Carol came to his house, and then Amadeus walked straight up to Carol, and she was like, "Carol, let me ask you something. If I were to go crazy, what makes you think you can stop me?" And Carol just had like a look of fear, and Amadeus was just like took off. I was like, God.
They setting up for it because he's having blackouts, and that's basically meaning that his Hulk, quote unquote, is going into autopilot.
I'm telling you, by the time, the end of this year rolls around, I mean, they basically already admitted it. I mean, where's that CBR article? Marvel and their solicitations and the way everything's going, all signs are pointing to, by the end of the year, having most of the original lead heroes back in their original roles. I think we're going to see Peter Parker back in New York City. I think we're going to see, War Machine back, Tony Stark back. I think we're going to see Thor have his powers back. We're going to...
Oh, my God.
Wait.
Has anybody been reading Thor Onward?
Yes. No, that is a good...
That's like the only good Thor book right now.
Yo,
especially since it's got Beta Ray Bill in it.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right. No, this is, oh my God. If they really are going that route and actually trying to bring everybody together by the end of this year, if not early next year, Oh, you know why they're doing that. Oh God,
Yeah,
the
video
movies
games.
are dictating the fucking
Yo.
comics.
The movies and the video games.
Movies and video
whoa.
games, they about to try to get that secondhand paper, man. Like, yo, this is Marvel's Capcom. That's gonna be a giant right there. Like,
we need money. Yo, video games, say no more.
Because they know there's a good amount of people who legit, if they watch these movies and they play these video games, they're like, okay, I want to pick up the comics. They look at the comics and they're like completely fucking different, and there's people they don't even know about, so they're wondering how the hell they got to this. Watch we get a soft ass reboot after this.
Well, it also doesn't help that like you can't jump on anymore. I mean, like you have a 5-issue Rocket Raccoon series, you know, and then they're canceling that line and relaunching it under a new name that's just Rocket, and it launches like what is it in like next month or the month after?
You got no fucking
and
stupid.
I was reading an article that was like, and you know, like that was basically saying like, here's one reason why like they were like, here's one reason why manga is like a lot more accessible than American comics. And they were like, and someone put up the final point was finality, and it really hit me because it was like, you can go read all the 833 chapters of One Piece and you know, and counting or whatever, but they said I know it's like a dedication, but if you do that, you get all of the One Piece story. You get everything for One Piece. If you try to jump on at any point in Marvel Comics and try to keep up with all of this, you're just not going to be able to. Man. It's impossible.
It used to be a lot easier, but now
it's like you would not believe the looks I get from people when I talk to them about Marvel, and you know, somebody randomly tells me like yeah, man, you know Venom was one of my favorite characters back in the day, you know, man, Eddie Brock and all that. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, he ain't got the symbiote. Well, I know eventually he will, but this is at the time. I was like, yeah, you know, he doesn't have the symbiote. And I was like, yeah, you know, Flash Thompson got the symbiote. And then they was like, what? I was like, yeah, that's the thing now. And he was like,
Mac Gargan had it before him.
Exactly, yo. And it's like when I say little things like that, they start looking at me crazy, and they just like, oh, well, okay. That's literally what they say. Well, okay. I didn't hear any interest.
You see, like this is the thing. This is the thing. Like diversity, like with shock value, all of these things, they do nothing but alienate the general public and the people who want to get into comics. Like every fucking time I do a video about Spider-Man, people are asking me, "Hey Neo, where should I jump on with Spider-Man?" And to be honest, I'm getting ready to link them to Danny's chronology because that's the only thing I can explain. Because I can't say go pick up this, go pick up that, but get this, but only part of that. And you'll like this if you like this story, but it's not really. You see, it's how fucking confusing it is.
Like I'm in an entirely different group, and like, you know, I'm actually one of the few people that actually even knows about comics. Like, you know, they kind of understand the stuff, and you know, with the MCU blowing up, they actually, you know, kind of actually did want to give comics a try. So they asked me, "Hey Jameel, where can I get into comics?" And I'm like, I can't answer that question for you because there is no answer for it. I mean, the closest I could have said was maybe, you know, when DC did the New 52 reboot, you could technically start there if you want, but if you want to sit in the trash, then be my guest. Yeah. But, you mean the new 52, but not because we cancel these titles, but then added new titles. So we're like at And then they were like, "Okay, so what about Marvel? Because I really like Marvel." I'm like, "You can't get into it."
And it's even worse with that.
Remember Marvel Now was supposed to be their thing, and then it's like, nope, nope, not anymore.
Marvel Now,
all different.
Oh no, not anymore. They're back to Marvel Now again.
Like one of my,
I know.
Yeah, back to Marvel Now 2.0. Like one of my friends was like, "Yo, I want to go read Thor. What's Odin's son doing?" I'm like, "Well, right now, Odin's son is trying to get his hammer back, and Jane Foster is Thor." And she was like, "Huh?"
Natalie Portman is Thor.
And I was trying to explain. I was trying to explain, like, how does Thor lose his name along with his hammer? How did you lose your name? That's his name. That's not a title.
He is not a superhero. That's how he was born. He is not a superhero.
That's his name.
Like, that pissed me off. They just call him Odin's son. And then the disrespect of his run, Thor the Unworthy. Like, bruh, come on.
Well, I don't like the title, but the book itself has been like...
The book is great, but it's just like the title, and that's his thing, Unworthy Thor.
Yeah,
I know, like, how you, that's your name. It's not a title. It's
Man, I
your
keep
name.
disconnecting.
No. Here's what I don't get. How is the Unworthy Thor so good, and yet it's written by the same guy who writes that booty ass Jane Foster series? That's what I want to
Right.
know.
You see, like the man, he's putting his efforts in the wrong area. Then, man. Literally, Thor, Jane Fox. That is so. That is probably one of the most random changes out of the bunch. It's like I don't get that right there. And then what's up with the whole added thing of like, doesn't she have cancer? So aren't they basically saying her time is running?
Basically, her having cancer is also part of why she was chosen, because she showed an incomparable strength of will and of spirit. And it's like, so does every other cancer patient. Why is she so special then?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I know you're thinking you're being uplifting here, but at the same time, it's going to make people think, why is she so special?
Yep.
Yeah.
And really, it is. It basically, they didn't even introduce it either until the book's numbers started to tank. It was a blatant sympathy play. But the funny thing is that in the end, after all is said and done, this isn't going to do them any good, because not only are their numbers like terrible, but now the SJWs, the same people that they've been pandering to, are boycotting Marvel Comics.
And
I didn't know about this.
That is something that we will save for another discussion, because we've officially run out of time. It is past 1 a.m. and some people over here got to play some Destiny.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, we got the expansion pack, so we had to spend more money to get a better game.
Oh,
so the game's good now.
I gotta go play Yakuza 2, my guy. So
okay, so see, he got this too, but we will be back because, like I said, there's a lot to discuss on this, and we obviously know something stupid is going to happen soon surrounding one of these movies, in regards to SJWs and whatever their big catastrophe and their big problem is of the week. We will discuss it. Lord knows Danny will let us know, and then we will have another one of these topics. Also, let us know if you guys enjoyed this topic edition of NXP podcast. I actually thought it was pretty cool. That way we can just get on here and just shoot the shit without scrambling for topics of news and all that. As far as things we have planned for next week, next week's episode is unfortunately we're not going to be having it on Monday because I'm going to be traveling again. I'm going to be in Texas, so if y'all are down for Tuesday evening, I can definitely do that.
I'm flexible.
Yeah, I'm good. So, yeah.
All right, so Tuesday evening we will resume our usual NXP podcast discussion, and
which I will unceremoniously drag kicking and screaming toward IDW Comics.
He's gonna get there.
Nintendo Switch.
Oh God, no.
Oh my God.
This man needs it.
Did we already cover that though?
We
need
did
to give this man a tune-in radio channel.
Yeah. There's a lot more to discuss because, like I said, we are getting closer to the launch of the Switch, so we can discuss that. And next week, because y'all wouldn't shut up about it in the comics, we will talk Samurai Jack, which, guess what, Danny? Inches us towards IDW.
Oh, yes, it does.
Alrighty. So, wrapping up outros from people. Jameel, you are a special guest. Outro. Let people know where they can find you, what you got planned.
Hey, name's Jameel. My YouTube channel is Comic Inspection. I uploaded one video talking about Batman, but I'm actually working on something pretty decently right now. So find me there. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, cool. Yeah, and I assume social media is all the same. Comic Inspection.
Yeah. My Twitter. Yep, my Twitter and my YouTube are the same.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Rob.
Oh man, on Twitter you can find me at young_rots. I'm not doing anything. Just feel free to hit me up whenever. I'm usually available. My YouTube channel, Rots112. I'm in the process of writing an extensive story on how I would have done Batman v Superman. So that's something to look forward to because in my own opinion, not to toot my own horn, I actually feel I've done a better job in what I've written. So that should be coming at some point.
Alrighty, and last but certainly not least, Mr. D's World.
Twitter's the same as YouTube, though I can promise you'll regret finding me.
It's just gonna be a lot of GA spam.
No, thank God, no. But politics. That's my caveat. Just be warned. And
I don't think they'll mind the politics because you want to know why? Because we're all a bunch of diverse rascals, you know?
Maybe.
We're the real definition of diversity right here.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
all coming together to point at people being stupid as a unit.
Yes, exactly.
I do have a Tumblr thing, too, that I've been doing that's surprisingly relatively sane. It's a fandom thing. We'll probably let Chris drop a link in here, I guess.
Yeah, and, send me the links in the chat and I'll update the description.
All right, and that's it for me, I guess. Read IDW.
Alrighty, cool. And y'all already know where to find me. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, NeoGameSpark, y'all already know. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in for, what is this, the third consecutive week of NXP podcast?
Killing it.
Yo, we are killing it in the game right now, dude.
We are dodging L's like bullets.
Yo, I'm telling you, man.
Unlike the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh man, how did I know it was gonna come up? And I knew I wasn't gonna be the one to drop it.
Oh, and that right there is a perfect way to end the podcast. We out, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have a good one.
See ya.
Peace.
Yoda Sith.